Hey guys, it's Jessica with Southern Sparrow, and you are on episode 6 of our Mahj 101 series, which is the episode on how to do the Charleston. Let's start with what the Charleston even is. So the Charleston is unique to American Mahjong, and it is a little tile dance around the table, but really what it is it's your opportunity to get rid of any junk tiles that you don't want in the hopes of gathering up some more tiles that are going towards that section that you've chosen after the deal so that you can help to build your hand. So we've talked about how to get organized and how to choose a section on the last episode. So if you missed that one, go back and watch that and then come join us here, because each of these episodes build on each other. You do want to watch them in order so that you can truly learn how to play American Mahjong. Okay, the Charleston. You're going to pass 3 tiles at a time, and you're going to follow a little pattern. The acronym to remember, so that you can remember what pattern you're passing tiles in, is R.O.L.L.O.R. So R-O-L-L-O-R tells you which direction you'll pass in. You'll take 3 tiles that you don't want, and you will pass them right. The R of the R.O.L.L.O.R, right. Whoopsies. Your first pass will be to the right. Everyone around the table will pass 3 tiles to the right, and then once you've passed, you may pick up your tiles. Now there is some etiquette around. Some groups prefer to wait until everyone has passed before anyone picks up. What I will say is once you've passed, you may pick up according to the National Mahjong League rules, but you should then wait until everyone has picked up that pass before you start to get organized for your next pass. So we've gone right. Next, I would pick up these tiles, and then I would go over. So right over. Whoops, I dropped one. And that player, let's pretend that that player has passed me 3 tiles over. So again, it's 3 tiles every time. We went right. The O is over, so you're passing with the person across from you. Your next pass is left. Roll. Right, over, left. Okay? After those 3 passes, you have an option to stop the Charleston. The first 3 passes must be done in American Mahjong. Then any player at the table can choose to stop. And even if everyone else at the table would like to continue to a second Charleston, if one player says stop, that's it. The Charleston is over and you move on. But if you continue with the Charleston, you move into a second Charleston. That's the lower part of our R.O.L.L.O.R acronym, left over right, L-O-R. If you move into that second Charleston, you are committing to doing all 3 passes in that Charleston. So we went right, we went over, we went left. Let's pretend that everyone does want to do a second Charleston. We would then go left again. That's the L, left. We would pick up, we would go over, and then our very last pass would be right. So that's the L-O-R in R.O.L.L.O.R. The first 3 passes are right, over, left. Then the second 3 passes are left, over, right. And again, anyone can stop before that second left, but once you do the second left, you do have to do all 3 of those passes. Okay, here's another important thing about the Charleston. You do have an opportunity to do what's called a blind pass. Now, a blind pass is something that you would do if you didn't have enough tiles that you were willing to get rid of. Let's say that it's my second right, the final pass of the Charleston. We've done right over left, and then we've done left over, and it's time for me to go to the right. Let's say that I have all of these tiles that go towards my hand, and I only have a single tile that I'm willing to get rid of. Oops. I only have a single tile that I'm willing to get rid of because everything else goes to the hand that I've selected. I can do a blind pass. And the way that a blind pass works is this. I would place my single tile face down, and I would wait for this player to pass me their right. And when they pass me their right, I will blindly, without looking, take 2 tiles, marry them to my single tile, and pass those to the player to my right. So everyone ends up with the correct number of tiles. Remember, I was the east seat, so I have 14. Everyone else will have 13 at the end of the Charleston. But that's how you do a blind pass. A blind pass in the Charleston may only be done on the first left or the second right. So the third pass of either Charleston. Remember, there are 2 Charlestons. You do right over left. On that left pass, you can do a blind pass. Then there's the option for you to stop, meaning any player can say stop. Then you go left over right, and you can only do that blind pass again on that right pass. So the last pass of the Charleston is when you can do a blind pass. So that is the Charleston. After the Charleston, you have one more opportunity to exchange tiles and hopefully gather some tiles for your hand, and that's called the courtesy pass. So when the Charleston stops, whether you stop it after the first 3 passes, the right over left and then you stop, or if you stop it at the end of R.O.L.L.O.R, after 6 passes, you do a courtesy pass. And the courtesy pass is only done once. It's just done after the Charleston stops, and you will exchange tiles with the player sitting across from you. And you will exchange anywhere between 0 and 3 tiles at a time. So let's say that I have 3 tiles that I'm wanting to get rid of, and the player across from me only has 2 tiles. I would say, I can do 3 for courtesy, and she would say, well, I can do 2. And we would then exchange 2 tiles with each other. So whoever chooses the lower number, that's the number of tiles that you exchange. And you're just making an agreement between the 2 players across from each other. So we may choose to exchange 3 tiles, and then these 2 players, maybe one of them doesn't have any tiles that she's willing to exchange during courtesy pass, so they may not even exchange during courtesy. And so it's just an agreement with the player across from you, and you settle on the lower number. So that is Charleston and courtesy pass. That is your way of getting rid of tiles that don't work for the section that you've chosen, of hopefully narrowing in on the hand within that section, and then you should be moving out of the Charleston. You should feel really confident in the hand that you've selected. Let's talk how we actually choose what to pass and what to keep during the Charleston. So I have here on my rack, and I'm going to move this little section of wall off so that you can see. I have here my 14 tiles. Let's pretend this is the beginning of the Charleston. I have a pair of 3 cracks, a 5 crack, pair of 7 cracks, 8 crack, 7 dot, 8 dot, 2 9 dots, a red dragon. All these aren't organized anymore. That's okay. A soap, a 2 bam, and a 9 crack. Let's put this back with its crack, friends. So what's jumping out to me is, holy moly, I have a nice little setup here for some odd numbers, and I like that they're all in one suit. I also have some odd numbers with a pair here in the dots, and I have some dragons that go with those 2 suits. So if it were me, my first Charleston pass would be these 3 tiles. Now, I don't always love to have 2 like-numbered tiles in a pass, but with what I have going on here, I would have selected the odd number section, 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, as my section, and then I would be passing these 3 tiles because they don't work for my section. So that's going to be my pass to the right. Let's pretend this person has passed these to me as my right pass. Let's pick them up. So what do we have here? We have a 2 crack, we have a soap, and we have a 5 crack. Well, our 5 crack surely slots in here, and we now have a pair of soaps, and we have a 2 crack. Now, I selected that 1, 3, 5, 7, 9 section, and now all but 1 tile works for that section after only a single Charleston pass. So that is when you should go back to your card. You've been collecting towards a section. As the Charleston is progressing, you've found that you have a lot of tiles towards that section, not very many tiles that don't work for your section. That's when you start to look back at the card and say, okay, let's find a hand or two in that section that work for what we actually have, because now I need to break some of this up. Am I going to hang on to these dragons? Well, I've got 5, 7, 9, and then there is this line here that's 5, 7, 9, and then pairs of opposing dragons, but one of the dragons that I have is a matching dragon to my 5, 7, 9. So I would need to find a pair of the green dragon if I wanted to make that hand work. That's certainly an option for us. I like that. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 tiles towards that hand. My rule of thumb when choosing a hand is if I have 6 or more tiles towards a single line on the card, a single hand, I will just lock in on that hand. So if this were a game that I was playing in real life, I would probably lock in on this hand, which is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, no, 6th hand down in 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. On the right hand side, where you have 5, 5, 5, 7, 7, 7, 9, 9, 9, 9, and then 2 pairs of opposing dragons in the opposite suit. So we're playing this in cracks. I would probably then pull these out. I would keep these, and I would keep these, and that would be my hand there, and I would start to break this up and pass it as the Charleston progressed. So that's what I would do. This is just an example of what you should be doing as you're doing the Charleston. So as you're collecting towards the section you chose after the deal, we covered that in the last episode. As you're collecting tiles towards that section, you're going to then be, after every pass, checking in with your section and trying to refine into a single hand. And like I said before, I have a whole playlist of how to refine based on what you've been dealt and what you get in the Charleston. So after you've watched this series, if you want to get really good at choosing your hand and feel really confident choosing your hand in your Mahjong games, I would go and watch that and practice at home. Deal yourself 13 tiles and practice those Charleston passes: right, over, left, left, over, right. Start to choose a section and then refine within that section into a single hand, or maybe you have a primary hand and a backup hand. And that is how you start to figure out what hand you're going to play. You get rid of the tiles during the Charleston that you don't want, and you're collecting more and more towards that hand, so that when we get into gameplay, then you're ready and you know what you're looking for on those discards. We're going to talk about gameplay on the next episode. I'll see you there. Happy Mahjong, y'all.